Hamas has released the last American hostage held in Gaza. 21-year-old U.S.-Israeli soldier Edan Alexander is now back in Israel. Hamas militants handed over Alexander to the Red Cross in Gaza a little earlier. He was abducted during the October 7th terror attacks in 2023. Alexander's release was a result of negotiations between Hamas and Washington and is the first since an 8-week ceasefire with Hamas ended back in March. President Donald Trump has called the move monumental news. News at Hour correspondent Tanya Kramer is following very closely for us from Jerusalem. Tanya, the U.S.-Israeli hostage Edan Alexander has arrived back in Israel. Today's process of the handover was entirely different, though, to what we've seen during previous hostage releases, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. I think it was a very low-profile handover. He was basically handed over to the International Red Cross without one of these staged ceremonies that we've seen during the temporary ceasefire back in January and February. He's now reunited, we understand, with his family in a military base near Gaza, and where he will also undergo some checkups, and then he will be flown later to a hospital. And now it was a different process of what we've seen. Now Hamas announced late last night that they see this as a first step to release Edan Alexander. He was taken captive as a soldier from his military post on October 7, and he's also a dual citizen, American-Israeli citizen. Now, what is also different this time, obviously, as you mentioned, this was a move initiated by the U.S. administration through the mediators Egypt and Qatar. But what's also very different this time, there is no ceasefire in place. We understand that the Israeli military secured like a safe corridor, but it doesn't mean that there is right now a ceasefire in Gaza. This is something that they actually need to negotiate still to come back into a framework of a ceasefire and a further release for the remaining hostages.
You mentioned it there, and it's remarkable in its own right that the U.S. negotiated Alexander's release directly with Hamas because, of course, he is a dual citizen, American and Israeli. Tanya, what does that mean for the remaining hostages?
Well, I think there's a lot of concern. I mean, while there's a lot of joy and relief that one hostage was released, a lot of families here who still have their relatives in Gaza, they want to see all the hostages released, and this is what most of the Israeli public wants. And there's a lot of concern now whether what will be the next steps, what's following out of this. Will this be like the beginning of a new framework maybe that we are going to see, and how much pressure will the U.S. administration now put on Hamas, but also on the Israeli government? A lot of Israelis here have accused Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that he's not willing or able to come to an agreement, that he's instead, Israel broke the ceasefire in March and then intensified actually the offensive. And some are here really concerned that this is rather harming the remaining hostages there than helping them of being released. Now, Hamas has said that this is a first step towards a ceasefire. They also said, they want to see aid coming in, what is desperately needed in Gaza. Israel has stopped any aid coming in to Gaza. It's now in its third month, and the situation there is, as people there say, indescribable. At the same time, Israel has said they will only negotiate under fire. Now, we understand that a negotiation team will be going to Doha tomorrow from the Israeli side. We also understand, of course, that the American President Donald Trump is on his way to the region. But if all of this fails, Israel has already made clear a cabinet decision last week that they will intensify the military offensive in Gaza, that they will actually forcibly displace more population from the north to the south. And of course, we have to wait and see now if something more, if this is the beginning of something more towards a new agreement.
CW's Tanya Kramer reporting from Jerusalem. Thank you as ever.